to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm the Talking Dog Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram, and this channel is all about cross stitch. Today is Friday the 6th of December. It's Flosstube number 29 and I've got a lot to show you. Well, have I got a lot to show you? It's been 3 weeks since I last filmed, for which I can only apologise. It has been a bit of a mad one. On my last video I told you that I'd handed in my notice at my job in order to concentrate on my house, my family, and of course Talking Dog Stitchery, the online shop, and that notice has now run out. I've had my last day at my proper job, so to speak. So it's been a bit wild getting all of my responsibilities at work handed over, and my son turned 6, so we've had parties and dinners. My dad also turned 60, so again a nice dinner and all that kind of stuff. So not too much in terms of stitching time, and certainly no time to film. So I'm glad to be back. Please forgive me. Like I say, it's been 3 weeks, so if I start fumbling over my words and forgetting what I'm doing, it's probably that. I've got out of practice for sure. So we're well into December now, 6th of December. It's well into Advent season. I've had my first Terry's chocolate orange of December, so we're feeling festive for sure. I don't know if that's a thing elsewhere in the world, but certainly for me, Terry's chocolate orange coming back onto the shelves with a vengeance is a sign that Christmas is coming. I've got a few things to show you. I have got a finish. I've got a handful of whips, a little bit, a little pile of acquisitions, and lots and lots to show you and talk to you about. I don't have a designer spotlight today, unfortunately. I just didn't have the time to gather anything, but it will return in future videos for sure. I know a fair few of you have commented saying that you really enjoyed those. Let's just get into it, I suppose. The thing that you're probably mostly going to be waiting for is to find out whether or not I finished Christmas Rules. So Christmas Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I'm stitching with Sherry of Just So Sherry. We started the beginning of July for Jolly July, split it into 6 sections and aimed for a finish before the 1st of December. Did we do it? Well, I can tell you that within 6 minutes of each other, we did. There is my Christmas Rules in all its glory, all finished up. This is stitched on 32 count linen by Zweigart in the colour Platinum, stitched with CXC threads, apart from the red, which was the called for Cranberry by Gentle Arts, I believe. Yeah. And then the brown was supposed to be Weeks Dye Works Cocoa, but I've just subbed that for the DMC alternative that it provided. So as you can see, it's neither ironed nor fully finished. I am going to attempt a fully finish this year before Christmas. However, there are a lot of demands. I'm sure it's the same for everyone around this time of year. Demands on my time. So whether it gets completely fully finished remains to be seen, but certainly for next year. Pretty happy with that. I can't believe I managed to start and finish something this big in the space of 6 months. It was living in my cross stitch Jess project bag, so I need to find a new project to pop in there. And yeah, now you might be wondering, what's next? Are we going to do another one of these? The answer is kind of. So we have started a new little stitch along, but much smaller this time. So this is Christmas Tiny Town by Heart in Hand. Let's turn it the right way around. And as you can see on there, there are 6 houses plus the Christmas tree. So what we have decided to do is 1 house a month between now and June, so that we can start potentially another Christmas in July, stitch along together. I did really enjoy doing it. However, I am really looking forward to having one that's much smaller and more manageable. Like I mentioned, my stitchy time has been a little bit limited over the course of the last few weeks, So I was finding myself every time that I started to stitch, I was having to stitch on Christmas rules to get to that deadline. And it was a really motivating factor for me, definitely, and I will 100% be doing it again. But I was feeling a little bit Christmas rules out by the end of it. I just wanted to stitch on something else. That's just what I do. I tend to stitch on something different every time I stitch, so it was a bit of a drag for me, but by the end, so really happy to have something much smaller, much more manageable. Now I have actually already started this. I think I started it in 2023. Now I haven't finished the first house, so my December, busy December, will not have much to do, but I still have some to do to get to that little checkpoint. So there are a couple of little dots in here next to Joy that need filling in, and it's got a couple of chimneys, a bit of smoke that need finishing, and that's all I need to do in this for December. Now it's called for in Classic Colourworks and Week Style Works. I'm just using the conversion that it provides to use CXC threads rather than any of the fancy flosses, and it's being stitched on my Patchwork Rabbit Fibre on a Whim Fabric of the Month Club, and it's 32 count latte linen. So there we go, that is our ongoing stitch along that we can kind of plug away at over the course of the next 6 months, which will be really nice, small, manageable stitch. That's living with the rest of my tiny towns in my Canny Little Fox multi-pocket. There is another one of those on its way to me as well. Very excited for that one. Okay, let's move on to whips. So there are a couple. One of the these aren't in any particular order, so one of the ones I worked on was Owl Forest Embroidery Dinosaur Forest. I got this as a kit. It's just the picture cut off the front of the box, and I am using all of the kit materials, the Owl Forest threads and the linen that it supplies, and here is where we are at. So all I've done is work my way across the top, and I've reached the corner there. I think this is around 15%, and I'm trying to be really good and work the border, the boring bit, before coming in to do the motifs, or at least getting a really good chunk of the border done, because I know if I leave that till last, it'll just never get done. I'll never pick it up again. It is looking really lovely though. It is a fabulous border. So that's where I got to on that. It's living in a Turtle Bay Stitches project bag with a glow-in-the-dark dinosaur bones on the inside. Next one that I worked on, living in another Cross Stitch Jess project bag that she gifted me for my birthday, is my Needle Lot Designs The Secret Grove stitch along. So I'll have to pop a picture in somewhere of what it looks like. We've had 2 releases now, and I'm not caught up, but I have done a really good chunk of it. Here is where I am at. So there is, let me unfold it a little bit so you can see the fabric. There is a lovely owl to go in down here next to the lantern, and another one of these green bushy things. Where has that come from? I'm turning into Sherry now, you see. Right. This is being stitched in CXC threads with a piece of pole stitches fabric. It's 32 count Stormy Skies, which is going to look really, really wonderful with this. Okay, next up, my full coverage. Oh, let me One second. Found it. Need to show you the cover photo. So, Animal Panorama, art by Adrian Chesterman, charted by Pain Free Crafts. We're working top left. Massive, 900 by 324. So, I have Stitch Pal, which is an app that you pop in how many stitches you've done on each day, and it'll tell you how long it's going to take you to finish. Last time I showed this, we were in sort of 21:30 something. I have brought that down. As you can see, we've got some more columns in. I'm stitching Royal Rose method. So the koala is starting to get its face, and we're now an estimated completion of 2096. So it's still a little bit out of my lifespan, but we're closing the gap a little bit. Really happy how this is coming out. It's all being stitched in CXC, 1 thread over 1 on 25 count, easy grid Lugana, full cross. And like I say, Royal Rose method. I've got my parking bobbins. One of them fell on the floor and fell apart, so I just need to glue that bit back on. And I'm really happy with how it's coming out. I'm really enjoying stitching on this. I really enjoy it. I do love the full coverage, but it's quite nice with the Royal Rose method because you can start to see things coming to life quite quickly, whereas if I'd worked all of these threads in, it'd still be really patchy. Does that make sense? So I'm enjoying that the koala is already getting its face with this number of stitches, which would not be the case if I'd been running out the threads. I am about 1.1% of the way through this now, out of 291,000 stitches or something, so really happy with that. So my parking bobbins are from Daria Makes. I've got those on the website. She made me a custom one as well. Grime Guard by Jess Gets Stitching, and then the magnetic cable ties from Amazon. Very happy with that. Next up, living in just a little bag I made myself, something that is very, very much not a Christmassy project. This is my Stitching in the Wild project. Whenever I go somewhere like a children's birthday party where I'm not really needed, somewhere where they're off enjoying themselves and I just need to keep myself occupied for an hour or two, I take this. This is Hands-On Design Irony. It's from the Laundry Company collection, so there are 3 in this series. I'm starting with this one just on some 18 count white Ada, and here is where I have got to. Really easy one to pick up. There's only a half dozen colours in it, so just pick a colour and start stitching somewhere. Really, really enjoying doing that one. Teeny tiny, and it'll go up in my utility room once if it's ever finished. And I have one of the other ones in the collection to add to that, to start after I finish that one. Okay, next. Had to get the cover photo. Excuse me, itchy nose. This is Stitch Rovia. I got this from Cross Stitcher magazine from my library app. It's also available on her Etsy shop under the name Christmas Holidays. It says, I just want to bake and watch Christmas movies. I picked this up while I was watching the Bake Off final. It seemed appropriate. And it was all black backstitching that I did. So here is where we are at. We have the whole sort of right hand side, left hand side even, of backstitching done, all plotted in. So all I need to do is do the little light bulbs, and then I can backstitch the filaments in and finish off. Stitch the filament, backstitch, so on and so forth. So it's being stitched on 16 count Ada. Yeah, 16 count Ada from Fabric Flair called Gingerbread Man. And again, all in CXC thread. that was really, really fun to do. I'm one of those that really enjoys a bit of back stitching, to be honest with you. And it's going to look great when it's done. I just want to bake and watch Christmas movies. I think whenever I get a Christmas movie on, I'll have to pull this one back out again. One of the things me and my kids do every year is just get some gingerbread dough from the shop. You can buy it pre-made. With a 6 and 3-year-old, the whole mixing process and making the dough tends to be a little bit time consuming for them. They lose interest quite quickly. They're more interested in the whole rolling and cutting and all that kind of stuff. So we just skip to the good bit. We cheat and we skip to the good bit. So that's one of our little traditions, and we're just going to keep doing that, and they'll bake and watch Christmas movies. It's not it. Hang on. I was about to say that's it. It's not. I did also work on my chatelaine. This is Poison Garden mandala, and we're going to try not to drop the entire scroll frame this time, which is what happened last episode. It's very big though, in my defence. Right. Where are we? Can you see it? So what I've stitched on is that darkest green on the outside. There, a little bit of 1/1 in the middle. Not tons, but it does take some work. Tell you what else takes some work. It's holding this frame up. It's so heavy. I'm really loving how it's coming together. There's a lot of silk in the middle 1/1 section, so it does take some doing, but what I really wanted to do was start getting some of those big stitches in. It's being stitched in all of the called for materials, except I'm using CXC instead of the DMC that it calls for, but otherwise all the silks and the beads and everything like that are all as called for on 32 count vintage grey from Zweigart on my Amarnic frame that I bought myself for my birthday. And we did it without dropping the whole thing on the floor. Amazing. That is all of the stitching that I've done. So I do want to do a little bit in terms of acquisitions. First of all, I want to thank everyone who last episode helped me out with my silk issue. So it turns out, the fact is that I thought I was really good at Googling, and anyone that says otherwise is lying. Googling is a skill. To be able to find exactly what you need through Google, it's a skill. Knowing what to search for and all that kind of stuff. Turns out I'm not as good as I thought I was, because there were loads of you, and I thank you so much to everyone who messaged to say it's available here, it's available there, have you tried this, I've compared it to my stash and you've got these options. I really appreciate everyone who got in touch. It turns out that Gloriana silks come in 2 lengths, and I was completely unaware of it. So we've got 4-yard skeins and 6-yard skeins, and I was looking at the wrong length. Turns out where I was ordering it from already, they had some. I could have saved myself some postage by just searching for the second length. So I'm gonna have to take it out of the bag. Excuse the rustling. Six yards instead of 4 yards, which is what I was searching for apparently, of bluegrass, and then I also picked up some Monet's Pond Green. So I've got all of my Gloriana silks ready for chatelaine, so I can just pick a spot and get stitching rather than having to work my way around all of these where these are called for. So thank you very much. It was Adita that messaged to say check again, because I found it. So thank you everyone for that. I have also picked up my copy of Book of Days 2025 for all of keeping track of everything. I use Notion to keep track of my works in progress, so my start dates, finish dates, all that kind of stuff. However, I do find myself when it comes to Flosstube thinking, did I show that? Have I worked on that this week or last week? And all that kind of stuff. So the intention behind this is just to literally write on each day what I worked on so I can refer to it when it comes to Flosstube. So I'm pretty happy with that. I did sell this in the shop. I'll probably try and get some more copies. I ordered 100 of these. 99 have gone out the door already, and I've kept one for myself. So I'll see if I can get some more copies if anyone's still after a book of days. I also have a copy of this. Lauren has sent one over. It's her new chart. Isn't that amazing? Silent Night by Flossabilities. It's available on her Etsy. It's also available at Talking Dog Stitchery, the physical copies. It's stunning. Absolutely love it. Now, there's only 6 colours in this, 3 DMCs, B5200, 310 and 3808, and I love me some 3808. 2 Classic Colourworks and Weeks Dye Works Angel Hair, which I believe is the words. So you could probably sub that out with anything you fancy. I'm probably going to use Cottage Garden Threads Melting Moment is calling out to me for that Silent Night. So that I think is going to be my Christmas Eve start. I've got fabric, I've got a couple of options which I need to have a bit of a measure and see if they'll fit. I've got some Picture This Plus Mystic 60 count 36 count linen, and I've got Chromatic Alchemy. I've got a dark one from there. So once I've decided on what I'm going to start it on, I'll make sure to show you. One of the other brilliant pieces of, I want to say haul, that I got was Sherry, my lovely friend, messaged and asked, I have a spare one, like a duplicate of this. Is there any chance you'd fancy it? And I saw it and I said, yes, 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 please. I absolutely would. Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais. 6 Halloween themed pincushions. I had a look at it when it arrived, and I want to stitch everything in it. I'm being so good and not starting anything just yet, but I cannot wait to get into this and start doing some stitching. They are fabulous. I love that Ghosts and Goblins little pillow there. So thank you so much, Sherry. Absolutely love it. I think that'll be next October. Maybe we could stitch along one of these together. Really lucky to have that one. And then finally, the last little bit of acquisitions is I was contacted by the Historical Sampler Company, who asked me if I would fancy joining their stitch along with them. I was fortunate enough to meet Joanne and Suzanne at Stitch in London. They came for weekend 2. It was their first retreat. They'd never been to one before, so it was really lovely to meet them and their first experience of a retreat. They had a little, it was almost like a miniature trunk show of a bunch of their finishes that they'd had, and they were beautifully framed and gorgeous stitching. And they have sent me the Little Owl Patchwork Sampler Stitch Along. Starts on the 1st of January. I've gone for the linen. Excuse me while I get it open. So I've gone for the linen. The chart's not included, obviously, because it's a stitch along. We'll be getting the PDFs. So it's a piece of 32 count linen in this lovely beige colour, and all of the DMC threads, which are still lovely and tucked up. I love the colours on this one, look. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to start that. That will be my first new start of the new year. Thank you very much, Historical Sampler Company, for sending that to me. I pop a link to their website down below for where you can join the stitch along. I will also pop in the little sneak peek that we've had as well for what's coming, and it looks absolutely adorable. I cannot wait for that. So that is it in terms of what I've worked on and what I've received. I have a couple of little plans. I want to do my Christmas tiny town, get that house finished. There's about a couple dozen stitches and then I am caught up. I want to continue with my needle lot designs stitch along. I'm not going to keep up. There's about 1,500 to 2,000 stitches in each section, and that's a lot of stitching for me realistically on one project. I don't stitch that much in one go, but I will keep chugging along at it. I don't want to get as far behind as I have with both the Greenhouse of Oddities and Deadly Aquarium Sal's that I've got for Lola Crow. She's probably going to have a new one coming out soon as well, so I'm probably going to end up starting that too. What else have I got planned? My Christmas Eve start, Silent Night. Can't wait to get that started. Oh, another acquisition that I haven't told you about. It's probably my most exciting one, to be fair. I've got myself an overlocker. So you might have spotted it on here. And I've been going through and just overlocking everything I own. Oh, I'm not even holding this one out yet. So yes, I've got my overlocker. It is a shop purchase in reality. So to finish off fabrics that I've started selling, I've got a little handful of Weeks Dye Works on there. So I can use it for my personal use as well, right? So got it all loaded up with blue and purple thread for the shop. So that was really exciting. That arrived yesterday, and I've been overlocking everything, absolutely everything. That's it. That's all I have to show you. I don't have much by way of plans. Whatever calls to me will call to me. I might see if I did 12 starts of Christmas last year, and most of those have been relatively untouched since. So I might pick some of those out. There were 6 festive and 6 non-festive starts that I did last year. One of them was I just want to bake and watch Christmas movies. So as you can see, that's had a little bit of extra. I will be filming a whip parade at some point towards the end of December, beginning of January. So keep an eye out for that. I really enjoy getting everything out and having a good look at all my projects, because it's very rare that I get to have a look at everything. So that's it in terms of plans. If you've got anything you'd like to see, any particular designers you'd like me to showcase in future videos, pop a comment down below. Whoops, Rachel from Slightly in the Future here. I completely forgot that I promised as soon as I finished Christmas rules I was going to give away the chart. So if you would like to enter to win the Christmas rules chart that I have stitched from, now I have stitched from it. It is a little bit worn, it's a bit battered. There are no marks on the chart, so it's still completely legible. It's been with me. It's been over on holiday to Portugal with me and everything. Lived in the project bag. If you would like to win this, use the word rules in a comment down below. Please be a subscriber. Please be over 18 so that you can give me your address. And yes, use the word rules in your comment, and I will be giving this away to one lucky winner. I will send this anywhere in the world, so wherever you are, wherever you're watching, please feel free to enter, and I will draw that probably in my next video. We're coming close to 3,000 subscribers, which is mind-blowing, and I do have a big bumper giveaway planned for that. So we want to get this one out of the way before we reach that milestone and we start doing other big giveaways. So rules, and we'll see who wins. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.